Hello, this video message brings my greetings for a holy and happy new year to all of you in the Diocese of St Albans. For me, this is going to be a year of two centenaries. The outbreak of the First World War and the 100th anniversary of the Diocese of St Albans in its present form, called Celebrate 100. Please join me to celebrate that on August Bank Holiday Monday. More of that and this book, specially produced for this centenary year. First, over the coming months, the whole nation will relive the series of events which led to the outbreak of the First World War. H.G. Wells called it the war to end all wars and regretted it. It was far from that. Millions of young men were sent across the Channel to fight. Many never returned. It's thought that around 10 million people were killed on the battlefield. Others did come home, but many of them returned with maimed bodies and damaged minds. Here in Britain, the world of Downton Abbey had come to an end forever, never to return. As part of our diocesan centenary celebrations this year, we will have an all-day event here at the Equestrian Centre at Keesoe in Bedfordshire on the Bank Holiday Monday on August the 25th, and I hope you'll be able to come. And as a diocese, we'll also be marking our own centenary in 2014. In the early years of the 20th century, it became clear that the Diocese of St Albans needed some radical changes. It was decided that the diocese would no longer comprise Hertfordshire and Essex, but rather Hertfordshire and Bedfordshire. That change took place in 1914. So for the last 100 years, the two counties, along with Barnet in North London, have formed the Diocese of St Albans as we know it today. Every church and church school has also been presented with a copy of this book, which I've written specially for our anniversary year. It describes 366 saints and pilgrims who have brought us to where we are today. It may be our centenary, but these stories go deep into the roots of the communities of these counties, well beyond that, as far back as the 3rd century in the story of Alban. There's one story for each day of the year. We hope that saints and pilgrims will be used every day as an aid to prayer and reflection, and then displayed prominently in each church, open to that day's date, so that it can be read by the casual visitor or the pilgrim who wanders into the church. Some of those featured in this book are a helpful corrective to any tendency to glorify war, although we're glad to give thanks for them in an act of remembrance. The Reverend Maurice Peel, formerly rector of Wrestlingworth in Bedfordshire, was a military chaplain who was shot dead in 1917, trying to rescue a wounded man. He was awarded the Military Cross for his courage. The commitment and courage of those who gave their lives, but less literally, should also be counted by us in the cost of war. There were others who didn't die in the fighting, but who equally made huge sacrifices. Carola Oman, who's buried at Ayot St Lawrence, was the author of more than 50 books. She left a comfortable life in the Shires to serve as a probationary nurse in France, and these experiences contributed to a book of verse published in 1919. Perhaps it's their example which gives us a clue as to how we can properly celebrate the last 100 years. Not by glorifying either the past or the First World War, but rather by reflecting on what we need to do today to build our communities in the coming 100 years. We will be far better placed to do this if we have strong, confident churches, which are growing spiritually and numerically. Peel and Carola Oman knew the reality of living God's love. They understood only too well the meaning of service, of self-sacrifice, of loving one's neighbour as oneself. I have no doubt if we want to make a real difference, if we want to really transform our communities, then it will be personally costly. But as always, we can't sit around waiting for someone else to do it. It starts with us. Another of the people whose life is described in Saints and Pilgrims, who also knew the cost of Christian discipleship and lived it out, is Robert Barclay. He was a member of the famous family who founded Barclay's Bank. He believed that he had to connect his Christian faith with his work. He was convinced that he ought to use his wealth not just for himself but for others. He also helped found the Christian Conference Centre at Swanwick. And eventually his own home near Hoddesdon, here in Hertfordshire, became the Highly Christian Conference Centre, which is still running today and is used regularly by parishes here in the diocese. Robert Barclay brought his Christian faith to bear on his work and workplace. His life and example pose questions to us about whether we're willing to make the same gospel connection today in our families and in our places of work. But 1914 was important for other reasons as well. It was in that year that 2 new churches were opened here in the diocese. One of these is St Francis Hammerfield, here in Boxmoor on the edge of Hemel Hempstead. Still today, new areas of housing are being built, and we're planning to plant new congregations. An example of this, just to the south of Leighton Buzzard, is the Church of the Good Shepherd. Paul, tell us where we are today.
Well, this is Greenlee School. It's a brand new school on one of the brand new housing estates here to the south of Leighton Buzzard. And we've been here, this is our 5th week, so brand new.
But the church started more than 5 weeks ago, so started somewhere else?
Yep, 2 years ago, Helen, my wife, and I moved into a house on the next door housing estate. And the arrangement was that we would open the whole of the ground floor to the public. And we started something called Foretaste, which was an opportunity for folk to learn about the Christian faith. We decided that Messy Church, which has gone so well in so many other places, was the best model.
And most of these people, were they already churchgoers somewhere else, or most of them?
We've got a complete mixture. We've got people who used to go to church but have come back. We've got 1 or 2 people who've come with us from a church in town, just a few, but the majority of people came on board for Messy Church and have stuck with us for Messy Church, but have also started coming to the other services. And some people, we did a leaflet drop across the 2 estates, and some people have come to us through that who've not been to church at all.
As you look to the future, what's your dream of what this is going to eventually turn into? Or maybe you're not too certain at this stage.
Well, absolutely. I mean, on the basis of what's happened up to now, it's been kind of find out what God's doing and get on board. And I think the thing is now it's hanging on in awe and wonder to see what happens next. I mean, if I tell you, for instance, we've got people volunteering to help us with music. We've got a huge number of volunteers for our junior church. Every time we come together, we get new people and different people. Don't know what on earth we do if they all turn up on the same week.
What all the other churches are doing as a diocese, and what are you aiming to achieve at the end of it?
Well, Bishop Allen, we've got a tree. And our tree has roots, and it has a trunk, and it has branches. And we're aiming for our roots to go deeper. We want people to go deeper with God on an individual basis and on a corporate basis. The trunk is about being closer together. So we arrange all sorts of activities where we spend time together, either in worship or socially. And then the branches reach out further. So deeper, closer, further is our mission action plan.
Now, in most areas of the diocese, we have enough church buildings, although there is space to plant even more congregations within them, reaching out to those with little or no contact with the Christian faith. This is the task of making new disciples. This is where fresh expressions come in. If we want to have peace in the future, we need to actively work for it. Many of our churches are doing this already. Take, for example, All Saints Bedford, the other church in our diocese, which was opened in 1914.
I have been coming to All Saints Church from past 4 years. Me and my husband and my 3 children, we all joined the congregation. All 3 of my children and myself got baptized in this church. And it's a wonderful, wonderful experience coming to the church, and we hardly ever miss it. Because it's not just about coming on Sunday and join the congregation. There are lots of things during the week which the All Saints Church do, like basketball club, karate, the cricket club they run. And on Friday they do the choir practice, it's called Fusion. So where we get to meet all the different people, even they don't belong to All Saints Church. I have made quite a lot of friends since I've been coming to the All Saints Church. In the different communities, I have also made many friends. There are mothers who take their kids to the cricket club, which runs by the Queen's Park Youth, and there's loads of parents and families which we meet, and it's absolutely wonderful experience getting to know them.
All Saints is such a central part of life in Queen's Park, not just through the worship, but through everything that people do from All Saints. I've met all sorts of people that I wouldn't normally have any day-to-day contact with. All around Marlborough Road, you can pick out a different part of the world as you walk up and down the street, and it's fantastic. And everybody's represented here in this church. I had a friend who worked for the police force, and she used to collate all the crime figures for the different wards and parishes through Bedford, and I was fascinated. I said, Queen's Park has this reputation. What do the official figures show? And she said, it's actually probably the least crime affected area in Bedford.
I really wanted to come to All Saints due to my nan. She sort of told me that she goes to church on Sundays, and I was really quite interested in this because I'd never been to church before apart from a couple of weddings, and so I went and I really enjoyed it. I went into the Sunday school and it really encouraged me to come again. I am now the assistant head server, and I'm currently teaching 2 girls sort of like how to serve and things. Me and the 2 girls, we get along very well. We have a laugh. But yeah, I know quite a lot of people here, yes. Well, there's like loads of different people from loads of different backgrounds, and I think that church is so engaging. It encourages a lot of people to come here due to the way that we organise a lot of different clubs and events, which would really encourage people to come here.
I hope that in the coming year we will continue our work of living God's love, building on the example and inspiration of our predecessors, praying and working for spiritual and numerical growth, so that we can play our parts in working for peace and justice from 2014 until 2114.